Hey, seventh grade. This is the video for Thursday, April 2nd. Hope you guys are hanging in there. It's been fun to see those of you who've already joined us on Google Classroom. If you haven't already logged in, you should have received an email to whatever Gmail address your parents gave me for you to log in. So please do try and do that today so that if you have any problems, I can kind of help you troubleshoot. If for some reason you don't see an invitation, it's possible your email was spelled wrong or it went to spam. So double check, and if you don't see it, email me and let me know, and then I'll resend so you can be there. Once you're logged on, the main page of Google Classroom is called the Stream, which is kind of like a news feed. And in the Stream, you'll find a daily post from me, which has the lesson items for the day. It'll have this video, a link to the YouTube. It'll also have any other resources to share with you if we're studying something in particular, or if we're looking, I might put a YouTube video to something else. So you can look at that. And if you have questions about the lesson, that would also be a place where you could comment. Or you can email me directly if you want to ask your question one-on-one. Then, in addition to the Stream, you'll notice there's another tab called Classwork. And under Classwork, you're going to find your assignments for the week. Your assignments generally will not be in addition to what you've been doing in your lesson plan. So hopefully you're all seeing the lesson plan that I sent home is the same as what's in that Google document. And I have already started updating that with the next few weeks worth of lessons. So, but what you're going to do is beginning this week, I'd love for you to start taking pictures, and I've assigned each day a different assignment for you to take a snapshot, and then through that classwork section on Google Classroom, you go under your assignment, and then you'll click on My Work, and then it has an option for you to attach a file. So just attach a quick photo of whatever the requested assignment is. I can look that over, give you feedback, and then send it back your way. The other thing that's in there for this week, in addition to taking a snapshot of a few of your assignments, is also a weekly check-in form. We won't do this every week, but this is an opportunity this week for me to get some feedback from you, to find out how it's been going at home, to find out where you are in terms of how much work that you've completed and if there's anything that you need help with. So please do take the time to fill that out, and then you'll know that I received that from you because I'll ping it back to you with a grade and maybe some comments from me. If you have any questions, like I said, as you're getting all of that set up, let me know. I try to be on my email every day from 9 until 2. So if you want to be in touch quickly, you can email me, and I should be able to get back to you pretty quickly during the weekdays at that time. The other thing I want you to know is that starting next week, all of the middle school teachers will be doing Zoom calls in the afternoons. So again, in that same Google spreadsheet where there's my lesson plans and Miss Young's lesson plans and Mr. Cuevas's video links, you'll also find a tab that just says Zoom calls. And in that tab, you'll see a schedule for all of the different classes, and different teachers will lead them. There'll be chances for presenting new material, having discussions together, etc. So I hope you guys will join us for that. That starts, like I said, next week. Today, really quick, wanted to check in on your assignments. You're working through that back section of your vocabulary book with the different reviews. I did want to sort of remind you that the whole point of this entire book is to build your vocabulary. Why do we want to build your vocabulary? Well, it makes you a better speaker. It makes you a better writer. You become more fluent at presenting complicated ideas in interesting and compelling ways so that people want to listen to you and take you seriously, and it'll open doors for you. So for all of these reasons, I'm always excited for you to learn new and different kinds of words. So the reason I tell you all that is as you're doing your reviews, if you bump up against a word you don't know, that doesn't mean you aren't able to do it. That's the point. So what I want you then to do is to go and look it up, use a dictionary or dictionary.com, and think about what the meaning is. What I'm hoping that these exercises are doing for you are exposing you and to new words, reminding you of words you've heard and maybe didn't quite know the definition of. I say that particularly today because in contrast to your vocabulary book, you have a couple of pages to do in your writing and grammar book. This is this study skills chapter. One of the lessons, 19-2, is kind of a carryover from yesterday, thinking about how you use a table of contents and stuff. But the other one, 19-3, is about being able to make meaning of a maybe unfamiliar word using only the context of a sentence. And the reason I'm calling that to your attention is because I would prefer if you don't use a dictionary or dictionary.com as you're doing this page and just try to come up with definitions based on your reading of the sentence that's here. So that what that means is you're finding the meaning from the context. And I would like to see how successful you feel like you can be at doing those words on your own. Sound good? Okay, and then finally for Thursday, you have a story to read called The Blanket. And this is a really tender story. I also think it's interesting for us to read a story about, I think, one of the big questions or the big sort of themes that it's asking us to consider is what is the value of our elders and old people. And as we're, as a country, thinking about a disease that seems to inordinately affect older people right now, this story is asking us to think about what is the value of an old person to our family and how should we treat them and think about them. And it's told primarily from the perspective of this kid, Petey, who ultimately ends up making a really profound point, I think, sort of accidentally. So as you read, a couple of things I want you to think about. The first one is that as you go through the story, the word fine is used, I think like 11 or 12 times. So as you're reading it, you'll see it's a fine blanket and a fine evening and a fine tune and a fine girl. And I wonder why we use that word so much in this, why that word is used so much by the author in this story. And it might be helpful to think about, when do you use that word and what do you mean when you say it's fine? The second thing I want you to think about is symbolism. What are the symbols in this story and what do they represent? So really think about that as you read. And then finally, I do want you to just consider what's happening. I think one of the things that's really interesting is that the author asks a kind of a provocative question about what this family is doing, and then doesn't really get answered. We do get sort of this tender ending, as you'll see, but we don't necessarily know what happens next. So I'd love for you to make some guesses about what do you think or what do you hope happens next for this family. There is a quiz for you to complete that goes along with this story, so you can do that in your packets, and then I will be back with you tomorrow for a video on Friday. In the meantime, I'm there in the Google Classroom and on email. Would love to hear from you guys. Hope you're doing well. Bye-bye.